Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you've all had a good Christmas. I said at the end of the last video that I was going to leave this and move on to the front corner and do the bumper mount there. I have started on that, but I've come back to this because I want to see what I'm dealing with here. I mentioned that I know somebody who's got a new panel for this. I'm not certain I need that yet, and what I need to do first is get this bumper mount off and see what state it is behind it. I know it's rusty in there. I'm not sure if the camera will pick that up, but you can see evidence of some rust there and also down here. So I want to get this off, see what I'm dealing with, see if I actually need the new panel. So the first thing to do is I'm going to undo these here and take this anti-roll bar off, and then get the angle grinder with the brush on it, whiz all this under seal off to expose the spot welds, and then probably the plan so far is to put some clecos in this to hold it into the correct position, and then drill the spot welds out, take it off, see what I'm dealing with. So I'll set the camera up and get on with that. Right, I've marked all the spot welds I can find there, but before I drill them out, I'm just going to drill a few little holes, maybe 3, and put some clecos in so that I can reposition this piece exactly where it is now, if I need to do that. If the whole thing needs to be replaced, then I'm going to drop the body back on the floor and position it off the mount there, and then weld the new one in. That seems to be the only way to do that. But I'm going to try and save this one first, because the piece itself looks okay. I think the rust is behind it. But let's get it drilled off and we'll have a look. Right, that's the holes for the clecos drilled. 3 should be enough, I think. So the next thing now is to drill out all the spot welds. I'll film a couple, but you don't want to watch them all, do you? No, nobody wants to watch that. We'll start on this one. Too fast. What I did last time, actually, just remembered, so I don't burn out the drill, I'll use a normal drill bit and just get these all started so that this has actually got something to sit into. So don't go away. Right, I think that's them all drilled out. There's probably one there, but I can't see it. And I've got a feeling there might be another one in this corner here. But I'm just going to try and chisel it off first with this very flat chisel and see if any more spot welds become obvious. Start this top corner. Just found some more sneaky little spot welds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them along there. So I'll have to set those out. Hopefully there's none behind this. I don't really know, but I'll get those drilled out first and then we'll see. Right, with all the welds drilled out and the actual body mount part itself taken off here, this is kind of loose, but it's putting up a fight. I've spoken to my mate and he's going to bring the replacement panels over, so I think I'm just going to cut this off. If I slice it through there, take it off in 2 pieces, and then I can see what I'm dealing with behind. So yeah, that's the new plan. And that's the reinforcement panel off. You can see there's a bit of rust down here, a little hole there, a bit bad down there, but then all that's rusty there. So I'm going to clean it all up now, see exactly what I'm dealing with, and see what the new panel looks like. Right, I decided just to chop out some of the rust that was here. This is actually double skinned. You can see that there. So this is part of the boot floor, I suppose, behind the back seat, and this is the inner wing, and this face was spot welded to this. So I've managed to cut it off carefully so I can make a repair piece to go in there. Left this in here just for the time being, just to sort of locate things. I'll probably finish up cutting that out and replacing it. I've got the new panel now, which is there. Don't need all of it. Certainly don't need most of the backing piece, so I'm going to take this black coating off to reveal the spot welds and separate the reinforcement panel. I'll also reuse the original Mexi piece rather than that mount there as well. The back part, this back section here in this area will fill all of this quite nicely. So the first thing I'm going to do is, as I say, separate all that and then I can use it to make that panel and then weld the rest of it back together again. That was nice and easy, just drilled out the spot welds, separated this from here. So I'll keep that to one side for a minute. This back piece, I only really need this area of it, the rest of it can all go. But before I decide where that's going to go, I've dropped the body back onto the chassis again. I've cut a bit more of the rust out in that corner, and also that piece that was hanging down there, I decided to get rid of that. So just get back inside the car, because the next thing I'm going to do is, I've got the cross member just clipped back in place again. I'm going to drill along the line where the spot welds were, just a couple of places, put some clecos in, these things, so that I can locate it back again when I need to weld it in properly. I've also marked where the body mount holes go, because for some reason this replacement one hasn't got any holes in it. So I'll drill those out at the same time. Focus, there we are. So yeah, that's the next step. Drill that out, put the clecos in there, and then I can lift the body up, clean the black finish off and get that tacked in so that it's in the right place, hopefully. So with the tacks on top now, and a couple more just here on this end of the cross member. Sorry, I'm on the outside of the car now, just in case you couldn't see that. I'll ground these welds smooth so that I can now put a piece across here. It's going to go that way like that, and then come down here somewhere, depends how big the piece is, and then back up here again. So it's going to be a combination of spot welds along there, butts along there, and then this end will match onto this piece when this wraps around. But I wanted to get this end of the cross member located first, because this is what everything else seems to need to weld to in this corner. So yeah, the next step is to take the backing piece of this body mount panel and cut it down so that it's the right shape for that. Right, using this old piece of cardboard, I've made a template that matches the shape of the cutout up here, if you recall, which is about that shape. I've now clamped this massive panel where I want it to be, and on the inside of the car, if we go around here, put it up there, I'm going to use this corner here, hold the camera that way, this corner here as a reference for positioning that cardboard template. So, one-handed, I will scribe along there and along there. Like so, so that when I remove that clamp and take this piece off, I can position the template on there and get it cut correctly. So this line here is where I scored with the screwdriver. We marked it with the screwdriver, and then this dirty line here on the cardboard corresponds to that line there. So by positioning it in the right place and drawing around it with a pen, I've got this cut line. So the next thing to do now is cut that out, and then this piece here is my patch, and this piece here is all unneeded. So yeah, cut that first, see how it fits. And there it is, cut a bit too big to allow me some wriggle room, and it goes on the car that way. So we're going to see how that fits now. In fact, you can come with me. I haven't tried this yet, it might be miles off. But that should sit in there, like so. Needs a bit of trimming, of course, and a bit of tidying up. But that's not too bad. We'll make that fit. So yeah, I'll just trim that down and get it to fit correctly, and then we can get that tacked into place. And that's it welded in. I'm not quite finished yet, there's a bit more to do here and a little bit of that end there, but I'm going to leave that until I've got this new patch that comes around here to see where it meets up. So I'm just going to grind this down now so it's nice and smooth, and see if there's any gaps or anything that I've missed. And that's the welds all nice and smooth, ready to receive the bumper, I keep saying that, the body mount, which goes on there-ish somewhere. Depending on how it lines up with that end of that piece there, I might do this section next, or I might put the body mount on next. I haven't quite decided. One thing I am going to do though is remove this body mount from the panel and reuse the original one. So it's just going to be a case of drilling out those spot welds there and taking that off. Right, that's the body mount taken off. This panel was on there. The back of it and the inner wing have both been painted with copper weld through primer, and that's all nice and dry now. So I've got this in position. It's just clamped in there at the moment, but all these little holes here are where I drilled out the spot welds to take the backing piece off this panel in the first place. I'm going to reuse these to plug weld. There are some gaps behind, you can see that, so it's going to need a bit of dressing back. I don't think the curve of this panel matches exactly the curve of the inner wing, so it touches nice and tight here. So there and probably there, perhaps that one, I'll start the welding and then make it fit from there. This end is particularly off, so it's going to need a bit of massaging to make it fit there. As long as the bolt hole for the bumper, the bolt hole for the damper, and the Z-bar fixings here for the anti-roll bar, as long as they're in the right place, the rest of this doesn't really matter, because the body mount is going to be welded on in the place that's right for this car, where it lines up with the mount on the chassis there. So I'm going to tack that in now, and then work my way around and get it welded in fully. Right, it's a few days later now. I've got the body mount reinforcement panel in place. It's not fully welded on because I need somebody to help me just to do a bit of a spotting on the inside to make sure there's no fire, because it's awkward to get backwards and forwards. So I'm happy with the position of it. The next step is to figure out exactly where this goes. So it goes on there somewhere, but I don't know where exactly. So I've got the body off the chassis. I've got the chassis sat on axle stands, you can just see them under there, and a spirit level across the body mount points, and it's level. So the next thing to do is I'm going to drop the body down, just walk around this side. This is the factory mount, still in the factory place, hasn't moved at all, so I'm using that as a reference. So I'm going to drop the body down and bolt it onto where it goes, there, and then make sure it's lined up at the front with the front body mounts, because they're still factory at the moment, and then get the body level side to side, know the chassis level, get the body level, and then this can be positioned back around here again. This can be positioned at the right height and the right distance backwards and forwards. I'll just tack that on so it doesn't move, and then it can be welded properly later. So yeah, that's the next step. Drop the body down, I think. Well, move the spirit level first and then drop the body down. With the passenger side mounts bolted down and the body and the chassis are both perfectly level, go to the driver's side, and I've got the driver's side mount bolted to the chassis but not welded to the body yet. It's in the right place now, so I'll do a couple of tacks and then lift the body up and weld it in properly. With the body mount tacked in place, I'm going to try and cut this quarter panel down to size now. So if I hold it up against the car like so and mark along that top edge of where it is, you can see what I need to replace. First is the size of the panel. Now I don't want to cut all that because obviously there's a lot of original metal there that's in decent nick, and if I finish up with a very long weld line where that silver line is there, there's quite a lot of scope for distortion as well. So I am going to make a template with some masking tape to work out exactly how much of this panel I can cut off. So I'm going to masking tape from the silver line down and then to where the cut is on the actual panel itself, and then stick that on the back of this, and I'll be able to locate it and exactly work out where to cut this, hopefully. So that's now stuck on the bodywork and cut neatly along where the metal is cut, so I can transfer that now onto the panel. That's it now stuck on the panel, and I can see quite clearly where I need to cut. So I'll mark the panel, obviously cut it bigger than that so that I can trim it down neatly. I'm probably going to go with a joggle along this edge so that it sits behind and gets nice and flush, and then this bit here will have to be butt jointed because of the shape of it, and then this side is, I think it's pretty much straight. I've marked on the back so I can cut that separately. So yeah, next thing to do, mark that, cut it bigger, and then make it fit. And a whole load of trimming and fettling later, it's just about ready to weld in. It's the right shape, it's the right size, it just needs sort of clamping in place, got the clecos in it there. I'm going to do a couple of tacks along there and then butt weld it around there. But first of all I've got to get the black coating off so that there's actually some bare metal that I can weld to. And then I'll just get it tacked in place. I'm not going to weld it fully for the same reason I'm not welding that fully today, but I've got someone coming to give me a hand tomorrow who will just spot on the inside to watch for fires because I can't do both sides. So yeah, that's it. Clean up the black finish off this and then tack it into place. And that's it welded in. It does need the welds grinding down a bit and making smooth, but very pleased with that. I need to do underneath there, but I need to do that when the body's a bit higher up. So I'm just going to grind these down for now, and I'm happy with that. Right, just a quick look at the inside. I've got it all welded on along there and smoothed down. These welds here haven't been smoothed down yet, but they'll need to be. And all these bits here are where the weld has penetrated and burned the factory seam sealer off, so that'll need to be redone. But it's all welded in and dead solid. I've just got the underneath at that end there outside to do, which I'll do when I lift the body up a bit higher. But yeah, once that's got the new seam sealer over it, that's going to look pretty good. I'm very pleased with that. So yeah, just that bit on the outside to do now, and then this corner is done. And with it welded up underneath here now and underneath the end of the channel and a squirt of primer on just to protect it, I'm going to call that done. So I'll end this video here today. As always, thanks for watching. Please like and comment and subscribe and all that. It does make a difference. And I will see you next time. Thanks again. Bye.